Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we are going to be taking a first look at Gold Mythic Phineus, who is going to be coming to RTS in a roadmap style event. More information on that to follow, but we did get the kind of visual teaser preview in my teaser video of all the September characters at the beginning of the month. There is one more character to come from that video, and it is a Rick. If you want to go and check that out, you can do so, but visually, like you can see on the right hand side, Phineus is a brand new character in the game. We've never had a Phineus before. I think he is pretty much a Scopely RTS exclusive. I could be wrong here. The weapon looks brutal though in his hands. It's like a triple stacked like pickaxe. I would not want to get hit by that at all. If he misses once, he's got two other chances basically. The visuals look really cool. It's kind of like scientist slash miner. Lots of dynamite in his backpack by looks of things as well. On the left hand side you can see he's actually looking pretty happy with himself. Not sure why. He's in front of like a shack, but I don't know what that's about. If anyone knows anything about Phineus, do let me know, but I'm pretty sure it is a Scopely exclusive. If we look at the stats, at level 1600, limit break 3, he has got a little tiny bit of attack, 11,229. Defense is at 30,880, and he's got a massive amount of HP at 51,467. He is going to be a strong character, of course. He is going to be of the medic role, Gold Mythic, and he's going to be joining the new Old California Allegiance. So if we go across to the Adrenaline Rush of Phineus, you can see it is called Bone to Pick. It has got a recharge rate of 55 AP, which is pretty fast, kind of standard for a defense team though. Deal 10% of this fighter's max HP as damage to an enemy. Damage a line of enemies instead if the primary target has a debilitating status effect. While battling on the defense team, this fighter and a teammate get 100% AP. So this is pretty nice. The deal 10% of this fighter's max HP as damage to an enemy, or a line instead if the debilitating status effect, is pretty decent. A standard defense team character will have around about 10, to 12,000 damage from this, because they'll have roughly 100 to 120,000 HP generally. Phineus will have a lot more because he does have a HP bonus on his passives, which we'll look at later. But you will see in the next clip, his HP is very, very high. Now, the last part, while battling on the defense team, this fighter and a teammate get 100% AP, is immense. It's so powerful. Really can't say how powerful this is, because he can basically then do his Adrenaline Rush every single turn, which should be almost one-shotting any character on an attack team, even potentially some support characters with the potential HP numbers that Phineus can get. Let's test out the damage side of things. I won't show the AP. I think it's pretty obvious how that's going to work. Because he has to be on a defense team, I can't really show you that easily, because I'm going to show him on an attack team. Okay, so here we are on an attack team, and as you can see, if you look very carefully, Phineus's max HP is 200,000. I will say I haven't really done anything with this kit at all. No mods, nothing like that. This is just his base kit and his base weapon. He has got a Clementine leader who has got quite a good HP boost, but he can get way higher than 200,000. And obviously with the specialist skill, you can see he's already got quite a lot of bonus HP on top. Now against defense team characters, this isn't going to do a great deal of damage. So just take into account, how much damage this is doing versus how much HP an attack character generally has. So if we do this against the top line, it should do around 20k. There we go. It's 10% of his max HP. It's pretty straightforward. You can easily get this higher. If I had mods on him as well, I think I could get him up to potentially 280, maybe even 300,000 HP pretty easily, and that's doing like 25, 30k HP without too much of a problem. Not too many characters have 25 to 30k HP on an attack team, especially damage dealers. Just on the damage, this is nice, but obviously you're seeing way tankier HP numbers here for Phineus. Just that alone is going to be problematic to take him down, but it is going to boost his damage at the same time. Now, like I said, if he was on a defense team, he'd then get 100% AP and be able to rush again the next turn. He'd also give that AP to a random teammate. They could potentially rush before their turn ends if Phineus rushes first, but at the very least, they would rush at the start of their next turn. And then potentially you could have 3 characters rushing on the next turn where you wouldn't necessarily think you would have characters rushing, because he'd be rushing again and giving AP again. The way the AP works when it's random teammate AP, it always goes to the character with the highest. So if someone has 10% of their AP and someone has 5%, it will always go to the character with 10%. But regardless, it will always top them up to 100%, because obviously it's a 100% AP boost. If we look at the upgrades though, on the Adrenaline Rush, it says at grade 2 upgrade, where damage of line of enemies instead if the primary target has debilitating status effect. We did see that in the previous clip. I think the line of enemies was impaired. Only the initial target has to be have a debilitating status effect. The downside is on a defense team, this is completely random. He might target and prioritize characters with debilitating status effects, but he's probably going to prioritize fast characters because he is a strong character. That's just generally how it works. At grade 4, it gets an upgrade while battling on the defense team. This fighter gets 100% AP, so he'll be giving himself 100% AP on his Adrenaline Rush. This is just one copy, not too bad. Limit Break 1, the AP cost gets reduced to 55. Initially, it is going to be a 66. I think if you are free to play and these roadmap events haven't changed too much, you should be able to get 2 copies from running the roadmap, so it will be a 66 AP cost rush for free-to-play players. But if you do want to drop a little bit of money on those roadmaps, but obviously do check out how the roadmaps are going to actually work when the information is released, you should be able to get obviously at least 1 more copy and so on and so forth to reduce that AP down to 55. Then on to the big upgrade at Limit Break 3. While battling on the defense team, one other fighter gets 100% AP. This is actually massive. Having other characters do their Adrenaline Rushes more often is generally problematic. Defense team Adrenaline Rushes aren't always super powerful, but they're generally quite good. You generally don't want them to actually go off, but it's harder for them to go off, and Phineus just allows them to go off a bit more easier. It's pretty much as simple as that. We don't have too many AP manipulators these days on defense teams. There was a time when we had William on defense, and he gave AP every turn, so I think, you know, characters on defense teams generally got their Adrenaline Rush a turn early, and this was very noticeable indeed. The Adrenaline Rushes these days are a bit more powerful than that, of course, so you're going to be, you know, running into potential problems. Like I said, if that AP goes out to an enemy before they take their turn, they would obviously rush that turn instead of doing a signature move or a basic attack. There's a bit of RNG there, but regardless, they would get their Adrenaline Rush for the next turn, and if Phineus would always get his Adrenaline Rush for the next turn, and like I said, just lots of Adrenaline Rushes going off when you wouldn't necessarily expect them to, and it's just a bit more problematic to deal with. You know, potentially Guardian Shields flying everywhere, revives, everything like that, and potentially if you're dealing with more damage-dealing defense characters like Phineus, you could be losing characters a bit more quicker. So a lot of problems potentially running into characters on defense teams with Phineus for sure. But the Adrenaline Rush is very powerful indeed. Generally, like I said, defense team characters don't have super powerful Adrenaline Rushes, but Phineus has got a very, very nice one indeed. Now, checking out Phineus' signature move, it is called Bloody Survey. I think he is a minor here. Initial cooldown at turn 1. Cooldown at 1 turn. Number of uses unlimited. Deal 10% of this fighter's max HP as bleed damage to a line of enemies for 3 turns. This fighter cleanses heal reduction and gets 100% heal reduction resistance for 3 turns. Now, this is obviously pretty good when it comes to the amount of damage output it's going to get. It scales exactly the same as his Adrenaline Rush does, so you always know how this number is going to work. You saw his base HP, just me putting him in a team with Clementine Leader, was 200k. That means you're going to give someone a 20,000 bleed. Regardless if they're in a line or not, it will be at least one character getting a 20,000 bleed for 3 turns. Not too many attack team characters can deal with that, but also don't forget the fact that it's going to be a line of enemies potentially. So it could be a line of your damage dealers. It could be a support character and a damage dealer in the same line. Very problematic for the amount of damage. It kind of speeds up your potential of having to win the fight really quickly. And Phineus in a team makes it harder just because he's very, very tanky, over 200%, you know, K actual base HP, not including the bonus HP we saw him before. He was nearly 400k. I think he was 370k including bonus HP on the previous clip. Like I said, no mods, nothing like that, no upgraded weapon, just base. So very tanky potential, and this is a turn 1 signature move. Now he cleanses heal reduction and then gives himself heal reduction resistance. This is going to help with his specialist skill, which is Overheal, where when he gets healed over his max HP, he'll give himself and his team bonus HP. This is generally very nice for an Overheal specialist, but we'll check that out a little bit later on in the video. Let's check out how this works in a clip, but I think it's pretty straightforward. So we're in the fight again, and we're just going to use the signature move against the top line, making it nice and easy. I'll just do the signature move, and it's going to be exactly the same damage that we did with his Adrenaline Rush, because wouldn't you know it, 10% of his max HP as damage and 10% of his max HP as bleed is exactly the same. He has got 200,093 HP right now, so he does 20,000 bleed to a line of enemies. I said he could probably get his HP up to 250 to 300k without too much of a problem. and I think this should be able to get up to 25 to 30k bleed. A lot of attacking team characters, especially damage dealers, have like 22 to 24 max, and a lot of them have less than that. So they're going to get one shot by this potentially. You will obviously see Phineus in a defense team. You're going to have to adjust to that. Otherwise, Phineus is going to rip your team apart, honestly. This is a lot of damage potential. It lasts for 3 turns. So even if you have reductions in there, you have to be able to cleanse it or have 100% reduction. Otherwise, you're going to be in a lot of trouble for sure. And obviously, you probably noticed he did get the 100% heal reduction resistance for 3 turns. This just means he can't have heal reduction applied to him very easily. Someone who is a control role character can have a 40% chance to do this, but still, there aren't too many heal reduction characters out there, but this just does stop the chance of that potentially proccing and reducing the amount of heals he'll be getting to have the chance to proc his specialist skill. Pretty much as simple as that. If we look at the upgrades though on the signature move, you can see at grade 3 he gets +2 to bleed duration, so it'll go from a 1-turn bleed to a 3-turn bleed. This is not too bad. At grade 5 it gets -1 to starting cooldown. That is 2 copies. Like I said before, free to play might be able to get their hands on 2 copies if they grind the roadmaps. Then at limit break 3 he gets an upgrade where this fighter cleanses heal reduction and gets 100% heal reduction resistance for 3 turns, which is nice. Like I said, it's a nice little bonus. But you are going to be getting huge amounts of stats as you progress through this with Phineus's kit, just because if everything scales with his passive, which gives him a HP bonus by the looks of things, his HP will just getting higher and higher and higher as he gets his base levels up. You know, the difference between Limit Break 1 and Limit Break 2 normally might only be a couple of thousand. For Phineus, it might be like 20k. So that's a lot of stats for a defense team character, generally speaking. So even if you don't really see these upgrades as being that useful, he needs as much stats as he possibly can get to be on a defense team, and you generally want to get the best out of him, making him as tanky as possible. And don't forget, the higher his stats are, the more bleed he does here, and the more damage he does on his Adrenaline Rush. So let's check out those passives of Phineus. You can see he has got his mythic abilities here. He is, of course, a medic, so he is going to have Spirit, where 20% of all healing performed by this fighter also granted as bonus HP. I will say he isn't actually doing many heals at the moment, because nothing on his Adrenaline Rush, nothing on his signature move. We'll see it on the rest of the passive. The next one is a minus problem. At the start of each wave and turn, this fighter heals for 60% of their max HP. Now, this would obviously proc Spirit if he actually healed that HP. If he was at max HP already, then it wouldn't work, but it will proc his specialist skill, and that's why he's getting so much bonus HP when the fight starts, and also so is the rest of this team. Character is basically going to work exactly how Noor does, where she heals for the HP at the beginning of the fight, giving everyone bonus HP as well. The next one's called Refurb. When this fighter recovers from a penalty, a 100% chance to apply a random debilitating effect to an enemy for 2 turns. This is obviously really good, but we haven't seen much cleanse in his kit so far, in his Adrenaline Rush or his signature move. But I will say his weapon has very good potential chance of cleansing 1, if not 2 potential effects every single turn. So that could be very, very nice indeed. For him just to be able to get rid of things, like only in his signature move have I seen like a cleanse, but it's very specific to heal reduction. But on the weapon, it's just a general cleanse. We'll check that out later though. But B, he'll obviously be able to apply a debilitating stasis effect to somebody when he does that, which is obviously really, very powerful indeed. And the last passive is extremely basic, but so powerful. Durable Gear plus 100% max HP. This is why he has 200k just standing there doing nothing, holding his base kit basically. This should be absolutely immense. This should be so high on the amount of HP potential he could get. Okay, so now looking at this fight, you can see he has got 1 debilitating status effect on him right now. We'll put a second one on him, so now he has stun and he has infection. I'll defend on the rest of my characters, and he can cleanse these and then obviously give me some negative effects. As you can see, he cleansed both of them, and that means 2 of my characters should be controlled in some way. I think we have 2 of my characters as stunned. You have Michelle and you have Diamond, who got debilitating status effect and they just got RNG stunned. If I then impair him, as you can see, I will then have this get cleansed, and then there'll be a confuse. It did land on Diamond again, a bit of RNG there. I'll try and impair him again. I think he's got an impair on his Sig potentially. I don't think I've got anything else. The bleed. The bleed actually counts as well, I think. He'll cleanse the bleed. A confused then did land on my Glenn. Glenn should attack again. Should be another bleed. I'll put burn on him as well. And that's 2 negative status effects that he's got. He'll cleanse both of them. And you can see now my Javi is impaired. And then my diamond got confused again. And you can see how this potentially can just get very much out of control. Now my Javi is normalized. And we do have another control that I think came in. Where did it go? Maybe it landed on Javi as well. It was. Javi got normalized and stunned. So, yeah, you can see the amount of, like, potential output when it comes to his control. He only has to cleanse effects. He's about to cleanse 2 more again. And then again, my diamond got taunted. And it looks like maybe my Akira got an effect on him. Who else got an effect? Yeah, Akira got taunted as well. So, this is problematic for your attack team. Lots of debilitating status effects. And you can't really counter this by having someone who has a particular, like, resist, because it's random on what debilitating status effect it's going to be. Looking into the upgrades on his passives, you can see at grade 1, he gets the first half of a minor problem. At the start of each wave and turn, this fighter heals for 30% of their max HP. At grade 2, he gets the first half of spirit. 10% of all healing performed by this fighter also granted as bonus HP. And then at grade 3, he gets the second half of a minor problem. At the start of each wave and turn, this fighter gets a further 30% of their max HP healed. You were seeing that proc a lot because he did have just 100% of his bonus HP, and that's because of his specialist skill. Now, if we look at the next passives, at grade 4, he gets the first half of refurb. When this fighter recovers from a penalty, 50% chance to apply a random debilitating effect to an enemy for 2 turns, and that's for each penalty cleanse. So if he somehow cleansed 10, it would be 10 negative status effects. I don't think he could do up to 10, but I know he can do more than 1 because we saw that in the last clips. The next one is called Durable Gear at grade 5. Part 1 is going to come in, and it is just a 50% max HP boost, which is pretty big in itself. Then moving on to limit breaks, we'll have Spirit 2 come in at grade limit break 1, where it gets a further 10% of all healing performed by this fighter also granted this bonus HP. That is only going to work on his self-heal passive, and it's realistically only going to work if he isn't going to heal himself to max HP, or he isn't already max HP, because obviously it only works with the HP you're actually healed. So Spirit isn't that important on him. If you are short on the supplies, that would be the one to go last. At limit break 2, he gets the second half of refurb. When the fighter recovers from a penalty, a further 50% chance, making it a 100% chance to apply a random debilitating effect to an enemy for 2 turns. Then at limit break 3, he gets the second half of durable gear, plus 50% max HP, making it a 100% max HP bonus total, which is obviously massive. He sits around with 200k max HP without any upgrades on his weapon, without any teammate next to him giving him like HP to align, which you definitely can do. It seems like it could potentially be a good way to go, or even that like that weapon where it was like 15 on defense and HP. Big potential HP boost on Phineus, and I look forward to seeing the kind of numbers some people can get to, or should I say I don't look forward to. I don't know how to word that one, because it's going to be pretty brutal when it comes to the base max HP he's going to get to. And don't forget, because he heals for 60% of his max HP at the beginning of the wave and turn, that means he's going to get 60% of his HP as bonus HP as well, which is generally going to be 100% bonus HP for all his teammates at the beginning of the fight. This reminds me of Davey very early on in the Mythic era, and obviously, like I said, Noor as well. Very, very powerful on the passives, especially the HP boost, especially the debilitating status effect one. In my opinion, those two are very, very problematic. You will have to get him to high grade to get those, but it looks like it could be worth it to get the best out of Phineus. So let's check out why that self-heal at the beginning of the fight and beginning of each turn is very powerful, and that's because of his specialist skill, and it is Overheal 2. If this fighter were to be healed over 100% max HP, this fighter and all teammates get bonus HP equal to 50% of the amount of healed over 100% max HP, regardless of any heal reduction affecting those teammates. It would only be heal reduction affecting Phineus himself. So if Phineus had heal reduction on him, he couldn't heal to actually proc this, but he's got the cleanse, he's got the resist in his signature move, which is obviously great. This means with that 200,000 max HP I had, with a 60% heal, I would heal for 120k max HP, and that means I should give out 60k bonus HP off of turn 1 with no like boosts on my weapon, no like boost to heal, incoming healing, which you definitely can have. And that's pretty big. 60k bonus HP. It stacks with anyone else who's doing bonus HP. So very, very powerful, no doubt. Overheal 2 is one of the more powerful specialists, especially if a character is healing themselves non-stop every turn, which he is. The passives cannot be stopped. You cannot like impair them like you can with an adrenaline rush. You cannot daze them like you can with doing a signature move. You can do heal reduction, but he's got the cleanse, he's got the resist. It's going to be way harder to control the amount of bonus HP he's going to be able to give out every turn. You can try and normalize him, but there are going to be other characters in Phineus's team which you will want to normalize instead. Now the last part of Phineus's kit which we are going to take a look at is going to be his weapon, and it is Phineus's robust pickaxe, and it is a brutal looking pickaxe like I said. It has got 40% defense, 45% HP, perfected cleanse, remove one negative effect from this fighter at the start of every turn, 100% of the time, and then the next one is improved cleanse, where a 60% chance to remove one negative effect from this fighter at the start of every turn. So he's guaranteed to move one negative effect every turn, and then he's more often than not going to remove a second one because it's 60% chance, so he's got more chance of removing it than not removing it. This is where he can do 2 debilitating status effects to your team as an attack team every turn, and if you want to try and attack a team without doing any negative status effects, then it's problematic in itself because negative status effects are quite important to be able to control enemy teams. I did say about normalizing Phineus to stop his, specialist skill from happening. That's not going to really work. It might actually stop it from proccing at the beginning of the turn, but he's still going to cleanse it and you're still going to get debilitated because you did that. So you're going to get heavily punished. Phineus looks like he's got kind of like defense mechanisms to counter the things that are countering him. Very, very problematic when a defense team character has that. Phineus looks very powerful. You're somehow going to have to try and one-shot him in one turn, which could be very problematic depending on how someone builds him. If someone just decides, hey, he's got crazy HP already, let me ramp up that defense, he's not going to take much damage from hits. If they put him on a team with like Regina, he's not going to take any damage from multi-hits, which is generally how you take down high HP characters, is hitting high crits. And he's just generally going to reduce that damage as well. So yeah, very problematic when it comes to Phineus' potential on a defense team, not just because of the weapon, but because of the rest of his kit. I would say when it comes to the stats, you want to try and get his HP up as high as possible, but you could do what I said with the defense. If you look at my guide for Peacekeeper back in the day, one of the things I said to do with Peacekeeper was just improve his defense. His HP's high enough, and it makes it way harder to kill him, and I was right. Until they brought out like a really hard counter like Sophia, it was very problematic to take down Peacekeeper with higher defense. And I think Phineus is pretty much going to be the same. So this was a first look at Gold Mythic Phineus with the most brutal looking weapon that I've seen in a while. I thought the Adam weapon was pretty bad with a baseball bat with a meat cleaver attached, but this is like a triple pickaxe. He could take out like 3 walkers at the same time that are just marching along in a horde. Very nice indeed. But yeah, visually looks kind of cool. Got a shotgun as well. I didn't notice that, but he's a brand new character. Never seen him before, but his kit is very powerful for sure. It all works together and everything's boosting. The amount of damage output he's going to do on his signature move and adrenaline rush, and then obviously he's going to have very high sustainability because of his passives, and all of his team will generally have quite a lot of bonus HP as well. Do tell me your thoughts though on Phineus, as like I said, a roadmap event character coming to the game. Do stay tuned for more information on the event itself. I want to thank you very much for tuning into my video, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.